So we can start? Okay, great. All right, good morning. This is the time and place for the Planning Hearing Officer hearing for July 18th, 2018. My name is Roger Kiesel, and I will be conducting the hearing some of the hearings as a hearing officer. We have two cases today, and relevant exhibits are posted on the panels located directly behind me. As I mentioned, we have two cases. One is a parking reduction permit, and one is a variance application. Each of those cases has findings that the applicant will need to meet in order for staff to approve the project. If the findings cannot be met, the project will be denied. Public notification of this hearing was accomplished by use of public notices, which were mailed to property owners and occupants located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question and placed in the local newspaper, and posted on the city's website. The hearings will proceed as follows. I'll read a description of the application and request. Second, I'll read the reports received from other city departments and other letters or communications from interested parties. Third, the case planner will make a brief overview of the case, give analysis, and make a recommendation. The applicant will be asked to come forward stating both name and address, and will be asked to present the case within a 15-minute time period. Others in support or in opposition to the application and interested parties will be asked to come forward to speak, again clearly stating both name and address within a 3-minute time period. And then finally, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments, if desired, in response to testimony given by preceding speakers within a 5-minute time period. The hearing will be closed and the case taken under submission, or a decision will be rendered at that time. Decision after the hearing, the applicant or the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at the hearing or submitting a written response and providing their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Appeals. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the decision date, and the notice of appeal shall be filed with the Building and Safety Division located in MSB 101 of this building. Speaker's cards. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of the speaker forms which have been provided by the front door and submit it to our staff. I would like to inform everyone that the official proceedings of the Planning Hearing Officer's hearing are recorded on tape as part of the public record. Okay. We're down to the agenda. The first case is located at 2060 through 2066 Verdugo Boulevard and 3734 Park Place. It's parking reduction permit case number PPRP 1705462. The applicant is Alan Malikian. Staff member is Milka Toledo. And it's my understanding that the applicant has a request, so I want to turn it over to Ms. Toledo.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kiesel. So the applicant is requesting to have the case continued. I'd like to defer to the applicant at this time to articulate that information.
Good morning. My name is Alan Malikian. I would like to request a continuation only because the actual traffic engineer is not able to attend. He's out of country. He notified us last night about 4 o'clock that he missed his flight. So it is unfortunate. I can go ahead and address anything that relates to the building, the design, the proposed, but majority of the questions, I'm assuming, from the public and possibly you would be based on the traffic. So he is the person who has conducted the traffic study, and he's fully aware of what has happened. So I don't want to speak on his behalf. And the report is very thorough, and we've gone through the report several times together. But I just feel that him being the person who actually did the studies would be a better person to represent this rather than I speaking on his behalf.
Okay, okay. I mean, I have some questions, but there are other questions
If there
that
are
I have
questions regarding the building
related
or
to the
anything,
parking.
yeah. So I'm assuming most of the questions are going to have to do with parking. So he
Okay.
would be the right person to do. But I can give you a little bit of a history. But again, I don't know how much of that we can kind of
Well,
carry. And
if you're going to request a continuance, I don't want to do anything
exactly.
else.
So I would like to request a continuance.
Okay, all right. So I'll grant you the continuance. I don't know when we can reschedule it,
Okay.
so it won't be to a date certain.
Okay.
And internally, we'll need to renotice.
Okay, and the renoticing, is that going to go through all the departments in the city, or is it going to be more?
No, by renoticing, I mean the public.
The public, okay, all right. Okay, then that's fine, so
Okay.
let's go ahead and do that. Thank
So
you.
this case is going to be continued to a date uncertain, and all required noticing will be renoticed.
Thank you.
Okay. The next case is located at 655 North Central Avenue. It's variance case number 1809115. Let's take a quick break, and another hearing officer will hear the case.
All right. Uh, We're coming up to the second item on the agenda today for the planning hearing officer meeting. My name is Bradley Collin, and I will be the hearing officer for the next case. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of the speaker forms which have been provided by the front door and submitted to our planning assistant. I'd like to inform everyone that the official proceedings of the planning hearing officer's hearing are recorded as part of the public record. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by use of public notices, which were mailed to property owners and occupants located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. Due to the amount of people we have in the audience, I am going to go straight to the project description. We have an application before us for a variance to allow the installation of 3 accessory ground signs delineating the address of the property located in the DSP, Gateway District Zone, described as portions lot 20 through 22 and 48 through 56, and lots 23 through 29 within the Pioneer Investment Trust County Place, Glendale Place in the city of Glendale County, Los Angeles. We will, at this time, hear from the case planner, and then we will open up the public hearing for the applicant and anyone else that would wish to speak on this case.
All right, good
Mr.
morning.
Kiesel.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Good morning, Mr. Cullen. John Clark is requesting approval of a variance to allow the installation of accessory ground signs delineating the address of the subject property, which is 655 North Central Avenue. Approval of the variance is requested because no more than 1 accessory ground sign is permitted for each dedicated street frontage, and a maximum of 2 accessory ground signs may be permitted per lot, as long as they are facing 2 streets. Additionally, no accessory ground sign shall be closer than 15 feet to any other accessory ground sign on the same lot. The applicant is proposing 3 accessory ground signs, one that says 6, one that says 5, and then the last one that says 5. All are facing Central Avenue, and they are located approximately 8 feet apart from each other. So those are the 2 variance requests. 4 findings of fact need to be made in order to grant a variance. Staff believes that these findings can be made and recommends approval of the variance. I'm just going to briefly go through the findings, and then if you have any questions or need further information, I can answer questions. So strictly applying the sign standards to the proposed ground signs would result in unnecessary hardship inconsistent with the general purposes and intent of the ordinance, because the intent of the sign code is to create a more attractive business climate, enhance and protect the physical appearance of the community, and reduce advertising obstructions. The proposed signs are attractive and will enhance the appearance of the site, and will contain no commercial message, but rather list the building street address, which is 655. There are exceptional circumstances applicable to the property involved that do not apply to, generally to apply to other properties in the same zone or neighborhood, which warrants granting the variance because the subject site is large and it's adjacent to the 134 freeway. The sign locations are proposed to enable full view of them once at the corner of the freeway off-ramp and Central Avenue. So they'll be visible from that area, from the it would be the northwest of the site. Additionally, from a scale perspective, they'll fit within the scale of the site and the building and the landscape area within which they're located. The third finding, the granting of the variance request will not be material detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property or improvements in such zone or neighborhood. in which the property is located because the proposed signs do not contain any commercial messages, will not pose safety concerns, and are well-designed. And I can go over that more if you'd like. And then finally, the fourth finding, granting of the variance will not be contrary to the objectives of the ordinance because the objectives of the sign ordinance or sign regulations include reducing obstructions that lead to safety hazards, creating a more attractive business climate, and enhancing and protecting the appearance of the community. And the proposed signs and the design and their location are consistent with these objectives. And my staff report goes into all this further, but at this point, I'll conclude by saying staff supports the variance with the draft findings and conditions, and I can answer questions.
I do have a couple of questions and clarification, I guess. When I was looking at the packet that had the signs in it, I thought I saw that there was 3 different signs. There was like a ground sign that was kind of rectangular, and then there's the 3 numbers for the address, and then was there one other?
No, this variance only covers the ground signs for the 3 numbers.
And are we looking at that as the 655 as one sign or 3 individual signs?
No, they're 3 individual signs because they're supported by 3 individual structures. They're
Okay.
the foundation. I don't know if that's the right word. They have 3 separate foundations for the 3 numbers.
Okay. But wasn't there another ground sign that was being?
There are other signs on the site proposed, but those are like directional signs or that sort of thing.
Okay, so we're just looking at the 655.
Right.
Okay. And traffic has looked at,
They have looked at, yes, they have looked at it. I'm sorry. Let me. Let me actually go through the comments from the other departments.
okay, thank you.
So, sorry about that. Fire didn't have any comments related to the signs. Engineering comments, signs should not restrict pedestrian path to a width less than 5 feet. Use of color or illumination which may interfere with the visibility of effectiveness of traffic control devices shall not be approved. This includes signs which are predominantly green, red, or yellow within 200 feet of the intersection. These signs will be lit, but not with those colors. Gooseneck or anti-glare reflector materials shall not be approved, which result in glare upon a street or adjacent properties. Signs or lights which may tend to interfere with, mislead, or confuse drivers shall not be approved. This includes animated or flashing signs. These signs aren't animated and will not flash. And then finally, minimum 5 feet setback minimum 5 foot setback required from property line. And these signs are in excess of that setback. That's traffic engineering's comments.
Okay, and then you said that the colors for the signs are not going to be red, yellow, or green?
No, they're composed of a metal, and the lighting will be white, and it will uplight the signs.
Okay. And then did we include any of the conditions of approval from traffic in our?
You know, I'll need to look. I went through them, and it didn't. They're already set back more than 5 feet, so
they're
we'll
already
include that.
complying, correct?
But we can, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I don't. Building and safety had standard comments. And that was it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kiesel. All right, at this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing. We have one speaker card. Mr. John Clark, please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, John Clark, 145 Standard Street, El Segundo, California, representing Divco West, the developer of the site.
If you can go through the findings and if there's anything else that you want to add
Absolutely.
or
I brought some
elaborate on
additional
what Mr.
visuals
Kiesel
as
said.
well. Yes. When the project started, there was some discussion of naming the project, and we all felt it was really in the best interest of the project and the wayfinding of the area to use just the address numerals. The reason they're spaced as they are, which brings this variance question, it's kind of a massive piece when they're together. So they're opened up, so there's 2 8-foot walkways between them coming in. They're also made as transparent as possible. They have no face and no return. They're simply the return, the sides of the numerals. That is, you can see directly through them. And to clarify the color, they're white. It's a 2-part auto finish white. Comes out of the concrete base, and they're softly illuminated directly up. No glaring light, no reflections, no color of any sort.
And there's no lights that are actually facing on them, or it's all internal?
It's directly in front of them, coming straight up, raising the face of them.
Inside the,
No, in front.
there is an actual separate light.
Separate light.
Got it.
Correct. 14 inches or so in front, washing the light up the face.
Okay.
I can share with you a rendering that might help explain this. This shows the positioning, the relative scale, and the fact that you can in fact see through the letters. Oops.
And then the lights would be placed in the planters being in front
Correct.
of each of the...
The light fixtures are a circular flat light, a trench light that shines directly up. It can be walked over. It's a safe kind of light source. It's meant for people wandering around this and stepping over it.
So no, it's not possible to trip over the lights
No, it
then?
is not. It's
That's
flush
good.
to the surface.
Okay,
I have some additional renderings I could share with you. That would
sure.
so. I'll use this microphone this time. First, a clear statement of the form of the numerals and the degree, relative precision with which they're being
I
made.
can't hear you.
Okay, not even the, oh, they're not. Okay.
Okay, very good. Sorry.
Yeah, you need to go back to the podium. Sorry.
Okay, very good. So the rendering shows the general precision with which they're being manufactured. As you have on the wall behind you, there's a test of an actual size numeral in foam core. This shows a test of the actual scale of the piece in the real plaza, not photoshopped. It's just to show how it scales properly to the elevation of the building, the setback from the street, and the size of the plaza.
And again, it's being located, if I'm understanding correctly, on, here's the 134, here's
Correct.
Central, so it's going to be in this area.
Now, right here.
So it's right in the middle off of Central. It's not looking at from
Correct.
the intersection,
It's after you turn the corner you begin to see them.
so not from the freeway.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, the 8.5 by 11 right below shows the sign locations.
Which is here.
Right.
I misunderstood. I thought it was, you'd be able to see it coming off the freeway.
No, it's, I mean, it's kind of like this. As you turn, you'll be able to
Heading
see.
south, then you would see it.
Yeah, because
Got
then
it.
you see the 6 first, just because of the angle of the letters.
Got it. Thank you.
Or numbers.
All right.
So that was for the actual scale test.
And then what's on either side of the numbers is a walkway.
Correct. There's a walkway between them and to the left and right. There's a slight grade that comes up to the building. Floor level is roughly 12 inches higher than sidewalk, so it's a slight uphill grade.
There's no structures along Central as you're heading south that would
No, sir.
potentially block the view of these
No, sir.
numbers?
No. There's a curved wall at the corner, truly at the corner of the freeway and North Central, but it dies away well before it gets to this location.
So there is no issue with the visibility?
No, sir.
And in terms of plants and trees and stuff, that's not blocking the view
No,
either?
landscaping begins low and works up as it gets away from this area.
Okay.
If I could share 2 more visuals, and that'll be
Okay,
all.
that's fine. Thank you.
The first visual with the colorful ones, those are projects in other cities in the country where similarly the name of the project or the numerals have been used as a kind of a identification of the project. In many cases where it's numerals, it's wayfinding, but they live in public space like fine art. It's meant to be a very attractive, welcoming, sort of iconic form coming into the city. And this site is directly, of course, essentially a front door to the city coming in from the north. On the right, I show a project we're just finishing right now. Not exactly the same, but the same idea. It's in El Segundo, and I show the level of detail and finish and the quality of the workmanship that this project would have the same kind of approach and same detailing.
Question, at nighttime then they're lit. How does the lighting work with the signs being basically hollowed out? And
It
just
only
the-
illuminates grazes the front. So there's a section view behind you, sir. Doesn't show in section, but the light is directly in front and shines up the face only.
So it'll fill in the,
It'll only light the front edge, only not the back, but the front
it's
edge.
still enough to make it visible?
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
All right, very good. Okay, is there anything else that you
I think
wanted?
that should suffice.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We have no other speaker cards at this time. Actually, may I ask one, sorry, one quick question. I might ask you to come back up.
Yes.
I assume you've read the staff report that staff has prepared and the findings and conditions. Are you in agreement with the conditions of approval as outlined by staff?
I don't know if,
Those are that's what you pulled off the internet.
oh, yes, everything, I don't see.
The staff report and the conditions is a document you pulled off the internet.
Okay, so, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. We have no other speaker cards. Based on the findings recommended by staff, the facts and information presented at today's hearing, and the input we received from the other departments, I'm going to approve the variance that was presented here today with the conditions as outlined by staff and in addition with comments from other departments as applicable. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing, will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses and have provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Under the appeals provision, Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal may obtain forms and brochures on the procedures from Building and Safety Section, Permit Service Center, located on the same floor of this building. Hearing is now officially closed. I'd like to thank you for coming. It is 10:15 on July 18th. Thank you very much.